All right, let's get into the papers this morning. Very headlines that are getting one's attention, pulling. Right. Please read me, please read me. Well, we have joining us, journalist and social commentator Charles Ideho in the house. Charles, good morning.
Good morning, my
Nice
people.
to have you join us now.
Thank you very much. Yes,
thank you. Right, let's begin from the Punch newspaper. Danjuma's comment, federal government, we've got reports of soldiers' misconduct, but none from Taraba State. I will fast and pray for Danjuma. Governor Wike is saying that.
Sorry, we'll do what? The fasting will be for what?
Will be for
protection or something. Sometimes they just belittle some very, very important issues in the polity. Well, as for that Danjuma's statement, first of all, there are two ways I look at it. As another statesman, he should have an unfettered access to the president or to the presidency. If, for instance, maybe he has been frustrated from being seen, seeing president, you could see maybe his statement has become as a sign of frustration, which is, of course, cannot be ruled out. But again, what he has said, I think rather than just wave it aside, this is a man who was former chief of army staff. He understands
Chief of Defense Staff.
He understands intelligence.
He knows all these things.
So, and he's not also somebody who is given to flippancy. He weighs his words over time. So I expect that what he has said should be a feedback channel. What he has said, let the federal government look at it. Oh, you said there's complicity, then let's look at it. Then that's what I say.
Let's look at the proofs, let's see whatever information
if you say you had this, can you please come forward with evidence so that we're able to try, and then so that Nigeria will be better for it. That's rather than just vilify him. I think we should look at what he has said. Okay. Yes.
Then we have a picture of demolished Goza markets in Abuja.
I watched on TV yesterday.
It was really a situation that very pitiable. All right, let's move on. Tinubu absent from APC National Caucus meeting. He and Elder B.C. Akonde were not present at the meeting. Does this send any signal to anything? So
I don't think so, because the media, we have a way of playing certain things, so that be able to get to the hearts of the people. Right. Is it possible they had other assignments? So they were excused from that. So I don't think people just look at because they were absent, then maybe there's a rift. I don't think there's a rift, because recently the man was giving another opportunity
by the president.
So how can he get that kind of president's attention? Then you're not talking about rift. I don't think that there may be some very, very salient reason why they were in there.
All right. Nigeria's journey in the last 3 years, turbulent, says Buhari, and signs agreement with Switzerland on loot repatriation.
Well, we've been on this loot repatriation for too long and so long.
Quite a long time.
Yeah, the same country as well,
yeah,
Switzerland.
But again, can we also look at this other country, that the receiving countries.
Exactly.
If somebody is bringing in money to you, if you want to fight corruption, you want to help Africa, or
that is where you should start from.
You first of all look at what is the source of your income, the way they do it in their country. I'm not sure if you go to Switzerland whether you find people who are questionable character banking money. So when you find things like that, you know, especially Africa is a reservoir of things like that. Then you ask questions, not when you receive. To bring it back now, you're not giving no conditionalities. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to me.
But I think one interesting thing about this is the MOU is talking about this time around, we're going to return it, we're going to monitor it, and we'll manage it together.
But is that not preposterous?
And that's been another long-standing condition. But I think the federal government is also trying to tighten those loopholes now with the latest deal with the United Arab Emirates now. Yes. So then the UAE can also monitor as this money is coming, and then they could scrutinize.
But if we see, the thing is that why I say it's preposterous is that if you now when this government came in, we heard statements from this EU consumer then saying they want to work with this president, want to work with this government. So if you trust this government, why would you want to say want to monitor the the money belongs to us in first place? So you had it in trust for a while.
Should you not have any authority?
You had it in trust, but
it's part of what Nigerians are saying. If this money is come back, where does it go? How do you use it so that Nigerians will know that that money was tied to something, because by the time you plow it back into the Federation account, no one knows where the money has gone.
But again, it's still not the concern of
even if they are speaking for the Nigerian people.
Exactly. If it comes in here, we can decide to spend it on wine or something, but that's our money.
But the point there is a way of helping the Nigerian people themselves.
Right.
Then the best way to help us is not to accept such things.
Yes, going
Send
forward.
them back.
Going forward.
If you don't have anywhere to hide those money, then they will reduce the incidence of such.
All right.
Let's go on now, taking it from the biggest story in the Punch now, where the federal government said they didn't have any proof now of General Danjuma's allegations in Taraba. But now Taraba residents, it's not the biggest story on the Vanguard that I have now, but then it's right there. Military aiding herdsmen against us. Taraba residents and the traditional rulers are alleging, more or less vilifying Danjuma's position. But the army insists it's still not true.
No, but the army has said that there are incidences of things like of misbehavior, misdemeanor, official misdemeanor of the military. But it's not a groundswell, you know, that you can't play to that level where you now say you not generalize. But again, I ask, if there is an iota of things like that happening, then the issue of what Danjuma said calls to question. Then you do investigation. That's the way I say it.
Okay.
Right. You carry out an investigation to see whether there's an element of fact in what he has said. Bring it to the fore. After you have investigated, if it's been considered not to be true, then you move on. Yes. That's how it should be seen.
Oh,
okay.
All right. We not had brief now. Perhaps we just go to the Nation and we finish with this one.
The Nation newspaper said Danjuma's kinsmen relieve how troops aided herdsmen, and that's there. And then we have a bold picture of the family of Martin Luther King paying a visit to the president yesterday in Abuja. Right. And then we have Russia vows retaliation as U.S., Canada expel diplomats in UK solidarity.
That's one of rougher fight I think the international community has to settle, because we can determine where it's going to end. Okay. Because when you find all this in Russia grandstanding and then now having this fight with you, I understand that even Iceland is even threatening to withdraw its team from the 2018 World Cup that is being hosted by Russia. I mean, that would be a big blow.
Exactly. We have MMM founder dies of heart attack at 62.
Mavrodi is coming back to the news again.
Mavrodi is coming back to the news, but certainly this time around
he's dead.
He's dead. It's not a good story at all.
Not a good story. But then what happens to his legacy, right?
Legacy?
His legacy, indeed. Good or bad?
Legacy he left behind or something?
Well,
good or bad, but then there is a name attached.
No, but the point there is...
But again, you know what? I took time to actually study this is brand of Ponzi scheme. Initially, it wasn't meant to defraud people. Originally, it is the people's what I feel like greed that now got the worst part of him. What it meant in the beginning is that Kemi has some money. Mike doesn't have money. Can you lend Mike for a while? So I will now lend you. So when Mike now has, you give somebody else. It's supposed to be for very low income earners, but it is people's greed. They now came in. People
especially
it
the
wasn't
way
supposed to be an investment scheme. But when he entered into our country, people now became people were now putting in millions. How can you generate
restraints at all?
So it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a revolving kind of loan.
Fund,
if we had played by the rules, it would have all gone well for a lot of people. But it didn't, because a lot of people who were greedy. Take my $1 million.
And then the new investors were not coming as much as the investments on ground. But let's return to the Vanguard now, where we have to talk about the biggest story. The PDP now is begging Nigerians, saying we're sorry for misdeeds, forgive but allow them stay in purgatory. That's APC.
Purgatory to be purged, right?
Replying now. Of course, Lai Mohammed had said you can't be a ruling party. You're failing as an opposition party. Just be deregistered. What do you make of all this?
The thing is that for me, I think PDP begging us begging Nigerians is not the way to go. There's something wrong with that brand. With the PDP brand.
Why would you say that?
Why
would you say there's something wrong with the brand?
The media, I should tell you, because even when you look at even the way they are going with this issue of opposition. They're also carrying, call out nobody, you know, I don't have anything against personally. It's not carrying that position. If you, I mean, all of us were here at 2004. You saw what like all of them did. I mean, when the policy comes out, they look at it, they poo-poo that. But what are they doing? They are waiting for it to happen. But the APC party as a party at that time, they were ahead of everybody. But now you are reacting. Now, why I said there's a problem with that brand is that if you need to, okay, let me even liken it to a wife and a husband. A wife whose husband, the husband had complained that the food is not sweet. Then you are saying, husband, please forgive me. Forgive me for what? What you need to do, just make sure that you up your game in terms of preparation of your meal. Once it's good, your husband forgives you. I mean, by default, you are forgiven. But not tell us, forgive us, but still have not done anything that
but in that case, in the cooking of this soup, there has to be another opportunity to cook the soup.
Exactly, because
we are still tasting from the soup.
Indeed, because but then they're still in the opposition at the moment.
No, what I'm saying, the soup,
we
are sitting for the soup.
Right.
When you pass their kitchen, you still smell the odor.
All right, yes.
All right, a host of other stories there. To Patience Jonathan, Frozen's $15.5 million, saying, I'm not aware ex-First Lady was PEMSEC. And then Bill Gates insisting that your investment in health education here in Nigeria is still not enough. He granted an exclusive interview on CNN.
But I think we should listen to Biggie. We should listen to Biggie. We should listen to him honestly. We should.
Okay, and to the Daily Sun now, where poll sequence made it again to the front page. Senators insisting on overriding the president. This in spite of APC's national chairman, John Eyegun, having gone to see the APC caucus in the Senate. Does it appear that nothing reconciliatory is working? I
think, I know they may be after certain things, but you see, if I were to advise the government, I would say let it go. Let the senators or let the legislators have their way. A lot of them will be punished, and I tell you why. Most of them rode on the Buhari brand. Most of them didn't do much of campaigning. They rode on that popularity of the Buhari brand. Then now they want to face the electorate one-on-one. What do most of them have for them to dangle before us that will say, okay, they end up fast votes? So that's what I'm saying.
So in the long run, is for the democracy.
For democracy, exactly. So let them face us one-on-one. Most of them will not be able to skate through the hurdle because most of them, as I also said, do not have what it takes for us. If we weigh them, most of them will not.
But on the other hand, is there anything the president should be scared of?
No, because I'm sure who are his advisors. That's another thing, because they are afraid that it will also take the shine off the real presidential elections. You know, before the president, everything tied down to the presidential election. But they want to be independent.
Analysts are saying if we're building democracy, it doesn't matter who is benefiting. The point there is democracy is democracy. And we should be able to be, building that momentum.
Yes. But if the National Assembly were to be serious about it, if also serious about the whole thing, what they should do is to start building from the grassroots. Let's start from the state to the. That's how it's supposed to be. But not to start with them, then you not go back to the state, and then go back to the president. It doesn't make any sense at all.
What do you make of, still on the Daily Sun now, former President Goodluck Jonathan saying there's a plot to discredit me? It follows Vice President Oshibajo's allegations against him siphoning billions of naira in 2015 and subsequent reports now, but now Jonathan is speaking out in faraway Sierra Leone, or neighboring Sierra Leone.
The thing is that I think all these statements coming from the ruling party is not helping the ruling party at all. They are beginning to make Jonathan more popular. When you say it, and say, we have heard this one before. Let's go to the next one. So as I'm saying now, all these allegations against the president or the former government, what is Oshibajo as a professor of law? Or what he's supposed to do? He knows the law. Why don't you go to court if you feel that you have all this a body of evidence? It's not enough for you to just come to the media and say, this
some would say
told the lie.
Yeah, some would say there are the issues of the law. There's also the issue of politics.
Cool.
So at that level,
it's always a mix.
It's a mix. So you can't just stand up and say because I know what the laws are.
If he told the politics is too much, it will rubbish his background as a lawyer.
It's all right, but he's still a politician right now. He's
but
the vice
just
president.
Became one anyway.
All right, finally, this day newspaper, governors back National Assembly on electoral amendment bill. And this is bringing a new twist to the whole thing now.
And once government throw in their weight, it's going to sail through.
Right.
Wow.
And then we have remorseful PDP asks Nigerians for forgiveness. And the Kwara governor, others pledged support for IPI Congress 2018. And then we have the picture of the matriarch of the King, Luther King family there with the president. They paid the courtesy, they paid a visit to the president of Nigeria. Well, that's the newspaper this morning. And Charles, let's keep you, thank you for coming, but let's keep you for the next discussion. Now, as we get into the next discussion now, certainly, governors, northern governors and Mieti Allah Association, the Cattle Breeders Association met. And what are the implications? What are the outcome of this meeting? Even though there was no communique, we'll talk about that next. Stay with us now.